Hello everyone, welcome back, and today is sadly Rant Day. So, what are we ranting about? Well, ranting about something that's not exactly new. Basically, to put in layman terms, we're going to talk about this type of game, Clash of Heroes. I showed it off in my update that I got in a copy of the original Clash of Heroes. I am currently 19 hours into that at the current time of this. And the reason I'm going to do a video on this is because of the outrageous, it's like, we gotta talk about this stuff, people. I'm not talking about you specifically in my descriptions. I'm sure most of you understand what I'm going to talk about. But, some random bypasser, we gotta talk a little about this kind of history stuff here, okay? So, Clash of Heroes 1 is basically horrifyingly reviewed in America. But the question is why? Why is it so horribly reviewed here? Why in Japan it not only has 3 games, I can't remember if it's a 3DS port of the third game, because it's called Clash of Heroes 3D, so I'm not sure if that's a pun or supposed to be a unique game for the 3DS itself. Some of the games have been enhanced and ported to the PS3 itself. So, the question is, obviously it has fame in Japan, but why is it hated here? Why? And this is the rant of substance versus gameplay, okay? This is a pure gameplay-oriented game here. The problem is, in America at least, is that substance has taken root of, everything. Seriously, everything, the food, fashion, games, television. It's the popularity contest thing. And it's in my opinion, it's just destroying all kinds of shit. It's just, don't get me wrong, looking pretty and having good stuff and that is a good thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would certainly put Clash of Heroes below, don't know why that one's saying though. I would put Clash of Heroes definitely below this series. Because this does hit on, but it's it still begs the question, this series is really popular here. We got all 4 games, and I'm still waiting on my 4th copy to arrive, but it's nice little soundtrack and art book and that it's supposed to come with. Or was it just an art book? I don't know. Anyway. But still, even with that, gameplay is important. Having good gameplay. And I just don't understand. Because, arguably, I'm not going to disagree that the monsters are incredibly overused. They're not very inspiring. And pretty much most of the graphics are pretty simplistic and plain. But the gameplay is solid as far as I've played so far. It's challenging. It requires the normal form of wizardry, the concept of wizardry. You get maps, you explore the ruins, you find and make items. Now, I've never played 2 and 3 of this series, but I have been the first one. And I don't know if they introduced any form of, creating gear later on. It wouldn't surprise me. Because that would probably be a way to go to enhance the gameplay more. There's lots of crafting and upgrading with your gear and that. So, gameplay-wise, I don't see a flaw in this game, And while I would say it's a little less on it, because while it has really solid gameplay, it has a few things on it, with the upgrading. If I'm just comparing these 2 games, arguably, yes, this would win. Because the gameplay, though, pretty much the same. I would say this is just a little bit easier, just a bit. I like the aspect of drawing map, and you don't have the gear customization upgrading that you can do in Clash of Heroes, so Clash of Heroes wins in that department. So there's a little extra gameplay in here, but the artistic style, music, and everything is a lot better on this. Actually, that's probably, in my opinion, the worst thing about Clash of Heroes. There's not a lot of music. When you're just exploring the dungeon, it's very quiet with random sounds of and stuff in the labyrinth. But it's not by far the horrendous game that some people make it out to be. Like, people make it out like this is the apocalypse of hell. Like, I mean, we really gotta have some kind of control on these kind of statements, you know? I mean, there's an abomination of hell like Superman 64, and there's just not being incredibly creative, you know? Like, Classic Heroes is pretty much a Wizardry clone. Like, it's one of the closest things to a Wizardry clone, aside from the Dark Spiral, which I've already mentioned is basically Wizardry as a different title almost. It's still not as hard though. But Classic Heroes is easier than Dark Spiral, but certainly it's very close. And I like these type of games when done right. And my first game was Shining in the Darkness. Shining in the Darkness on the Genesis. That is a classic to me. But I mean, really, these days, you know, it's not like it's incredibly challenging. Like, it's a pretty decent challenge, but it's not like incredibly hard. But I just don't know. I don't get it. Like, why so much hatred? I mean, this game sold so poorly in America. I mean, aesthetically, yeah, it's not as interesting. I mean, it is pretty much a lot of generic anime characters and stuff. But its gameplay is so solid. I mean, I ran into my first real boss and barely lived. Because the fucker cheat. I'm not sure what stats element it was, but, because it seemed to do multiple things. Let's see in here. Not sure if it lists stats elements in here. Because that was my first time really getting anything aside from poisoned. And if you don't know if you're poisoned, then there's something wrong, because there's not a lot of complications with poison. I don't think it was just simply silence. I mean, my killers couldn't cast spells, but my melee people were also, they were also having a problem hitting him, so it was kind of like blind and silence at the same time. Let's see, fear. A student may be too afraid to perform normal actions. That might have been it. That might have been fear. But he did that to everyone in the party. Like, yeah, now I can kill you. And then it's like, holy shit, he killed like 3 of my characters and shit. Pretty much, yeah. I just really feel like, let me put it this way. I simply feel like people are just hating the game. Like this and the Dark Spiral is in the same boat, basically. That they're like hating it because they don't have this deep, complex story. And, well, you know, having a deep, complex story is pretty awesome, you know. But it doesn't always mean that it just makes everything... Because, I mean... It's not the whole point of every game. I mean, there's only, like, stuff like 999, yeah, that's the whole cool concept. The story fails, and yeah, the game's... But an RPG is about the gameplay first, and everything else secondary. So I'm not saying Classic Heroes is perfect, but I'm not saying it's this other piece of shit, like... What's a good example here? What's a good example? I guess I could always pull out the N64 Ace Quest 64. Even though I'm not going to say I liked it too, but that's because I saw there was a chance of it being something good if they did some changes. But I mean, it's not like it's designed horribly. I mean, it plays like a Wizardry game. If anything, it's easier than a Wizardry game, for fuck's sake. I mean, you can completely avoid permadeath. You can save anywhere. You have a lot of the advantages of having multiple parties crawl through the dungeon and shit. I mean, it is so much similar to Wizardry than, you know, this series, than the Odyssey series, and yet it's like really hated on. And I don't know, like, I just don't know. Like, I really like these two games, though. I don't know if I'll ever finish the Dark Spy. That game is fucking hard, way hard, like really hard. I really like the aesthetic design, but it's just really fucking hard. I am still enjoying the Class of Heroes though. It certainly is a time sink. Like you really gotta suck time in there. But it hasn't any different from this series. I sunk tons of freaking time into this series. So I mean, it's not like, oh, the time sink. Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, that argument is non and void in this. Like, I'm just saying, pretty graphics, yes, pretty graphics are nice, and that's why I would say that this has a better balancement versus Class of Heroes, because it has good music balancement, aesthetics, and that. Why this only purely has gameplay going for it, well, in my opinion. But I don't hate it because of that. I'm enjoying the gameplay. It's a fun game. It's enjoyable. I just don't understand why it's so, like, it's, like, intensely hated. Like, I don't think I've seen a single decent review even giving it an average. Like, it's just bomb the barrel shit. Like, and we're talking about the PSP, which I'm not trying to be hating on the PSP, but I certainly don't have, like, I have it, like, semi-average. I mean, I got maybe like 30, 40-ish games here, just random guess, but I mean, it's certainly not like the biggest library of awesomeness in the world. I mean, I think it was an interesting device, but I mean, it doesn't I mean, it really relies on a lot of ports and stuff, so I mean, it's like, I mean, what's, hell, I don't know what to say. It's just, I don't know. It just bothers me. There's so much intense hatred for it. I mean, I know it's not for everyone. That's for certain. It's certainly not for everyone. If you're not into the kind of dungeon crawling mazes and wizardry style, I mean, certainly it isn't for everyone. That's all. Wizardry is not for everyone. I love RPGs, and wizardry still kicks my fucking ass. I really need to get like the DOS collection CD thing, because the DOS original version is supposed to be immensely easier than the NES version, but yeah, that's just because the whole aging thing. That's what gets me. It's like, you want to avoid aging, don't go to the end, but you need to heal. So I mean, at least you're gonna have all your mages fucking die, because they have to go to the end to heal. So you could cause all your warriors to not level up. Well, domestically, it's all really annoying. It drives me nuts sometimes by that, but I mean, I don't know. It's just, what do you think? I mean, what do you think about, like, because this series is successful over here in America, and it's obviously all of them are successful in Japan, but why is Class of Heroes so hated on? Like, it just, I was never even bothered to touch 2 and 3, and while Genji Works and Monkey Paw are trying to give us a limited physical one of 2 and deal a download version of 2, and hopefully they will do the same to the third one. I don't know. I mean, I could understand, like, if it was a sequel or something, like, you know, I take it, like, let's use this for example. I haven't played 2 and 3, so this does not really, this is just an example. So let's say, you know, the first game, it does something interesting. Sure, I'll take it easy, learn that. Second game should improve on the new concept, graphics, music, and stuff. So basically, like, you know, I would expect Class of Heroes 2 to be graphically a little bit more interesting, and please have some fucking music. That really bothers me, to be honest. It's just so quiet, crawling through the dungeons, and there's barely any real music going on until you fight. I just don't know. It seems enjoyable. There's lots of traps and shit. Tons of different parties, skills, and magic. I really just don't understand why it's so hated on. I mean, it's just, oh, like from what I've seen, it's always the same thing. It's just like the story sucks, and blah blah blah. It's hard and it's grindy, and then it's like grinding comes with the territory of that game. All right. Now, I'm not saying there isn't a non-grindy first-person dungeon crawler, but I would like to hear you name one, because to be honest, I don't know of any. And I'm not saying that would be a horrible design choice to try. It's just, to be honest, I never even heard of one to try, like, to have a very streamlined first-person dungeon crawler. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard of that. Like, grinding's like part of the territory. I mean, I'll get this straight. This is the reason I don't really like, sometimes I just feel like people just automatically take something they really want to hate and just hate on it more. Like, there's a reason, like, I wouldn't, like, what's a good example? There's probably, like, a really good reason. I don't know what's a good example, really. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like some people just don't know what the hell they're talking about sometimes. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, well, it's like the whole Wizardry series, though. You're just basically saying, fuck you, Wizardry, you awful. I don't know. I'd like to hear your thoughts, it blows my mind, like recently with like a lot of bad reviews with the last story, I mean, I'm not saying everyone loves everything. It just seems weird that when you review something that you're gonna have good and bads. You're gonna have what you like and what you didn't like. It just always seems like sometimes there's just never anything good to anyone. Like yes, the graphics are generic, the monsters overused like hell in that, but the gameplay mechanics work. They work, they're there, they're confident. I don't see any like glitches and weird programming shit so far. I only got like 8 point something of the maps done. So I'm pretty sure I'm nowhere close to the end, and assuming it probably has post-game content, I wouldn't say it's probably all 100% of it, really. I'd say probably when the 70-80% probably would be like the end game, probably, if you explore a good bit. I don't know. It just seems weird, I mean, I don't know why the Dark Spiral itself got so much hatred, to be honest. I mean, if anything, like, if we're going on the whole thing of trying to emulate Wizardry, this does it far competent than all 4 of these games, and Shining in the Darkness, and pretty much anything else I could possibly think of that I can't right now. I mean, this is the best non-Wizardry title that's like Wizardry that I've ever played, and it's like, bleh. It's like, that kind of just goes all the way back to what the fuck happened with RPGs, really. Like, it's always so weird that, like, stuff like Ultima and Wizardry and that were really popular back in the day, and they go to Japan, and it's like immense popularity, and then it's like they faded in the obscurity, in the country of their origin. It's like, well, Ultima's dead, yeah, basically. The little Bush is trying to get the series back from EA so he could actually do stuff with it, which would be nice, to be honest. Because I started getting into Ultima. But Wizardry, Wizardry 1's the only Wizardry game I got, so I don't really have a lot of experience with Wizardry itself, to be honest. But I don't know. It's just, it's so ironic that, like, basically, I mean, if you didn't know, Wizardry is still alive in Japan. Like, it's had multiple sequels. I mean, there was a recent one that actually came out in America for the PS3. Xseed published it as a download on the PS3. There were 2 PS3 Wizardry games. I think there were, was there 3 or 4 on the PS2, and then there's Wizardry Online, which just got recently announced that's going to come to America, as far as I'm aware of. Was that a while ago? I don't know. I remember there was an announcement at some point in time for that, for like 2013. Well, I might be a little long on that, but I know there was some announcement at some point about that, and it's kind of nice to see it coming back, because before the one Xseed published, the last time Wizardry was seen from that time was the one of the PS2 ones that Atlas published, and then the last time from that was pretty much Wizardry 8. While the series has been alive in Japan, it's ironic. It began in America, and now it just exists in Japan. It's like, I don't know. It's so weird. So bizarre, to be honest. Like, I don't understand why it's so freaking hated so much. It's just, it makes me confused a lot. Like, I don't really like, pulling out a game and just like, this game sucks and dies. Go board it and kill them. Oh. It'd probably be more threatening if I had the blades pointing this way instead, towards me. But, I don't know. It's just slightly annoying. It's, I don't know. A lot of the concepts of RPGs and everything really began in the West and went to the East, and the East became booming, and it's like died down in the West. It's like, I remember when I was like in high school and X-Play was actually still a feasible channel to watch video game related shit on, and I remember I used to watch X-Play a long time ago, and that, I always never understood why they always like, oh look, Japan needs RPG, beat it down, like beat it up, bam, Japanese RPG, bam, bam, bam. I don't know. It confuses me, to be honest. If it's not your type of game, it's not your type of game. I try to be very fair when I say stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I just wanted to wham about that because it just seems annoying. As far as I see, there was nothing gameplay-wise functionally wrong with this game as far as I see. It explains everything. There's lots of classes you can skip, but you can take to understand concepts in the game in case you're not very familiar with many wizardry concepts. It seems fairly done. It's not a horrible game. Aesthetically, it's just presented a little, because it has pretty generic 2D graphics, anime characters, and like I said, there ain't a very huge amount of story and music. But, usually dungeon crawls don't have... good sakes, fucking Wizardry 1 was about a guy who stole a bracelet. A guy stole a bracelet and went, stupid king, I'm going down your fucking big-ass dungeon down here. Hello, son of a bitches, 10 levels down, have fun, screw you all, I'm going to the dungeons. It's like... I don't even know how the fuck that happens. It's like... It's not like it's some, and there's lots of games that have really fun gameplay that just aren't always necessarily about huge enthralling stories. Like Stubbs Zombie has an interesting twist, but at the same time, it's not like some huge enthralling thing. Serious Sam's just about running, gunning. Jet Set Radio is just all about grooving to the music. You got light gun games. Like Katamari. It's just about rolling a ball and making it bigger. It's like Katamari doesn't have this giant, flowing story of insanity. It's insane, but it's not like some complicated, twisted theory. It's like, Katamari is really your father, and I'm just some creepy guy wearing spandex. But, I don't know. Everything's going to have its critic, obviously. Nobody likes everything, but just, it bothers me when I can't find anyone really talking about positively like, it's pretty much, like, all negative. Like, negative, 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 negative. Ugh. Now that I think about it, this is kind of reminding me of that video Slasher did. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just looking into too many reviews saying negative shit about games. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, being honest, I find it funny that I myself, I keep going forward with gaming, but more and more, I keep leaping backward. Like, I got all the Ultimate games, basically. And I really do want to start Ultimate 2. I played and beaten the NES version of Ultimate 3 before I started doing Let's Plays and that. And, I find it interesting. I keep going back to try stuff in the roots. And people just bash the living fuck out of things. Like the stuff that started, and newer stuff, and older stuff, and everything. And I don't know. I guess ultimately it does come down to just people just being really negative about everything. I don't know. Maybe I should just sit down and find something just wacky and colorful and relax for a while, Or maybe I could just play some more Journey. That always work. Fuck that. Sorry, Johnny. I think we'll just find some Colossi and just destroy everything. No, I like Johnny. I don't know. Yeah, I think I need to relax a bit. And of course, that's the Shin Tensei series. You got the original series, F, and Nocturne, and Strange Journey. Oh, Strange Journey. I know he's somewhere around here, Strange Journey. There you go. I still haven't tried out Strange Journey yet. Of course, those ain't really, they have first-person dungeon crawling and stuff, but they're kind of their own take on that, where they're not really trying to emulate wizardry so much. I mean, they really don't kind of take these days. I mean, maybe the original, I guess you could say, might have been kind of emulating that a bit with its own ideas, but I mean, they kind of morphed in their own things these days. I don't know, it just seems really weird that Classic Heroes didn't find an audience here and just got ripped apart, and it makes me feel like big time reviewers, I know this was an issue, about when I was in, middle school, high school, somewhere around there. Well, a lot of, big sites and stuff, or, a lot of people, saying these big sites are destroying the unique creativity in the game industry, because they just keep shooting down shit and just, I don't know. What do you think? Honestly, what do you think? I mean, I'm sorry that I'm just blabbing and blah, 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 blah. Holy crap, that's say 28 minutes? Holy shit. I didn't even realize it was that long. Wow. Anyway, honestly, give me what you think. I mean, I would especially love to hear if you played 2 or 3 of these, kind of give you an opinion on what you think. I'd love to hear why you think that these failed well, these, why this failed when these 3 games succeeded. Why these failed and these succeeded. What's your opinion on that? Really, I mean, what to you did you like them both? Do you hate them both? Do you like one and hate the other? I mean, what is it that makes you really like it versus the other? I'd love to hear your opinion. Really, I honestly would love to hear your opinion. Because I don't know. I mean, they all have flaws. I mean, anyone could argue all of them, or time sinks, grinding, intense time wastes, or stuff like that. I mean, it's something that whole type of game basically all shares. I mean, like I said, I don't even know one that's legitimately quick-paced. Paste. I need a drink. Anyway, I think I'll let you go. If you watched it this time, Want, I congratulate you. It's tough to listen to somebody rambling about shit. But yes, I would love to hear your 2 cents on what you think. Because honestly, I just don't understand. I really don't understand. And I hope Class of Heroes 2 solves what I don't like about 1. Because I really wouldn't want to be really bad about it simply because of it not wanting to improve a little bit. Because I always think a sequel should improve some. Some. Maybe not always tons, but some. Anyway. I'll see you all next time. That was a long rant. I didn't even think that was 28 minutes. I thought it was more like freaking 15.